Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. Your decisions, my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hello there. We are back for another episode of The Real Journey of the Entrepreneur. I am your host and producer of this wonderful show where we are having real conversations about the true journey of what entrepreneurship looks like. It's from the perspective of all the folks who have the courage to come on this show. And so you are in for another wonderful treat. I am excited because for my next guest, I had an opportunity to meet Yvonne during right before the pandemic. This was we're talking about 2020 before things really shut down. And I was actually hosting an event in Brooklyn, in Brownsville, Brooklyn, that was really focusing on helping small businesses, startups with a focusing on how to really do your best and make sure that you have your fundamentals and your foundations aligned and settled so that you can actually do your best and create your best foot forward. But we all know what happened later on that year. But Yvonne and I have remained connected. And so I am super proud of Yvonne because not only is Yvonne an amazing business owner of YPimageisme, which is a professional consulting service. Like myself, Yvonne is certified as a minority women business enterprise with the city of New York. Yvonne also holds a master's of science degree in human resources management and development and an advanced certificate in organizational and executive coaching. So, to say the least, Yvonne is really dope. But we got some really good discussion that we're going to have about the process because Yvonne has a lot more experience in terms of business than I do. And we're on this journey at different levels in terms of one, supporting one another as Black businesswomen, but also two, really thinking about some of the challenges that we may have experienced coming up and starting our business. So we're going to have this conversation as if we're sipping tea in a cafe. We're probably going to have a lot of laughs, but we're going to have and share a lot of lessons, hopefully, that can transition your learning curve and make it a lot shorter. So I'm excited to bring on my guest. Hey, Yvonne.
Hey, Anita, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. How about that?
You're welcome. On a late evening.
Well, it is. Let's talk about your business. What's really not listed in the bio, because oftentimes when we are fighting through writing a bio or a capability statement, we feel like we got to put everything in there or not. But tell us a little bit more holistically who you are as a business owner.
Well, as you already know, my name is Yvonne. I'm a professional career consultant, image consultant, leadership consultant, and coach. And my journey been very, very long. I would say over 25 years. I had, no, let me go back further. Can I
Mm.
go back further?
Yep. Yep, we here.
I'm talking before I had my youngest child, over 30 something years.
Wow.
I started wanting to gather people. And as a part of the church, I wanted to gather people in a more intimate setting where we can just talk and shoot the breeze. And so we started having rap sessions in my home. I would have rap sessions with the guys and the girls, rap sessions with young people, sessions with just young boys, and all of that. And my father would say to me, you know, you can make a living doing this, gathering people and talking. We talk about real issues, not just, you know, the men and women against each other, what makes us different, and the fun stuff, but there was some deep conversations coming out of it. So people give you advice, but unfortunately back then people didn't know how to help you with the
Mm.
advice they give you. They just give you advice. And I'm scrambling and thinking. And then maybe about 25 years ago, I started doing a lot of things in my church with the Daughters of Destiny and the Sisters of Righteousness and teaching them how to cook, how to go on jobs, and different things like that, believe it or not. And I'm actually, which is not in the bio, I come from Wall Street. But when I was there, I kept saying, I want to help youth. I want to help youth and youth. And I actually did not go back to Wall Street after having my youngest child. And I tried my best to find a job that I could help with youth. And I helped with some youth in a career educating program. And doing that made me start saying, I want to do this. I want to help people improve their lives. I want to do some professional development. So it went from rap session, and actually it went from doing makeup to beautify people. And then it went to professional development to improve people overall work performance and just attitude in the workplace. And then wings just came from there pretty much.
Mm. Wow. So you're a real OG in the game, huh?
I'm OG for real, and I'm still working it and trying. I'm still working.
So when you started your business, so you went from, you know, doing image consulting to now professional development and also coaching services. What
Mhm.
made you transition?
I think I wanted to be deeper than just the outward appearance, the
Mm.
beauty on the outside, and to help people develop on the inside. And I think it was just innate. God just put something in me, if I could be transparent. And I
Mhm.
just started before Adult Continue Ed started doing all these workshops. I was putting workshops together and trying to call colleges, but I was calling the wrong department. And I don't know why the rap session sparked into the image consultant and then the image consultant to professional development. But I think once I got that job at Vanguard, part of working with the youth was preparing them for their career and their future. And I think some of that stayed with me. And I realized, wait a minute, since I was in eighth grade, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So whenever
Mm.
I was unemployed, I started doing resumes, doing workshops, and trying to shop with to colleges and different things. I started there to do workshop development from body language to maturing elegantly. Back then, I was young and doing maturing elegantly. I was actually in my 30s. From Dress for Success, from marketing yourself in the 21st century, so many things just in each workshop, table etiquette, which a lot of people in our community don't have. So each time I did a workshop, other ideas would just keep coming to me. And that's how I stepped way into it. And then I started getting more jobs in that field as well, 9 to 5 jobs.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of great work that you're doing. And so when you got started, like initially, with your startup costs, what were some of the costs that were associated with your business since you're in professional services.
Right. As I mentioned in previous times, that back then I didn't really feel like I had a course, so I didn't write it down, but I didn't have to pay for paper and supplies. When I went to the workshop, we didn't have email and a
Mm,
nice PowerPoint and a Google slide where we could click, click, click. I had to give out paper, the it wasn't even PowerPoint actually. I was just giving out handouts
mm,
and speaking points to people. So I paid for that. And I must say, I had to add my gas in there because I was traveling and driving sometime, not all the time. But I bought a computer, which I needed for both educational wise and for the business. So what I was sharing that I actually went to Bach Network. They were the first that invested and gave me $500. So I would talk to different people and network. At that time, I was much better at networking. I was out there meeting people, and they say always go to your competitors. Back then, competitors was really open, and it really worked. People like to brag about themselves, and
mm.
they would really give me a lot of information. And so my course pretty much varied, but I would say if I would throw a number on it, maybe 1,500, 1,000, if I would even know the actual figure. But it wasn't much because I was more of a consultant going outside.
That's great to hear. And some of your costs would include if you did filing with the state for your actual business registration.
Absolutely.
And then, within that first couple of year, at least that those first 2 years, it would be, as you mentioned, you're commuting, going to events. So yes, those are
Hmm.
definitely um, fees that are associated with those who are in the service business. So you mentioned networking. How do you connect with small businesses or collaborate with other small businesses?
Well, first, I started by actually interviewing individuals to find out more about, because at that time when I first started, believe it or not, I'm just kind of all over the place because I had so many things going on. I wanted to work with youth. I did mention that. So I would go to youth program and talk to the director. Back then you could just call people and they let you in. They didn't say go to your website. They didn't say that. They said come on in. And I came on in, and other times I might have even had to do lunch with individuals, or I would find out about free conferences. And I don't even remember how because we didn't have the internet back then. But when you're in the know, sometimes people tell you things, or I really don't know how I found out about free conferences back then, but I know after internet became popular, I found out about free conferences and went there and began to network. And one thing led to another. And I had a young lady in my church. She was an entrepreneur making hats, and she went to Weibo. Did
Mm,
you ever hear? You heard of Weibo workshop Institute, business opportunity, something like that. And that was a 16-week course. And so even being a part of that taught me how to network and do some other things, and even networking with the other colleagues that were there in the class as well.
right. That's great to me. So you essentially are stating that networking is pretty much how
Yeah.
you sustain your business.
Absolutely. You have to get out there. You have to be visible. You have to put your fear on the side because, to be honest, I didn't do everything without fear. I didn't do everything without fear, and I had to learn to put my fear behind me and just go out there. I had to not be afraid to make mistakes, not be afraid to speak to people that seemed like they were on such a high level. You ever get that way? You
Mhm.
talking to people and you feel like, oh, they seem like they have arrived, and maybe I'm not able to speak the language, so to speak. So I had to get familiar with that, but you're not going to get better at anything if you don't put yourself out there.
That
So
is so true.
you have to take the risk. No game without risk. You have to do it.
That is so true. So let's get deeper into the couch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you are going through your business, would you mind sharing one challenging experience that you may have remembered?
Definitely connecting to the right people that will give you that chance. I remember, and I can't tell you my school since I'm gonna tell you this. One of my schools that I graduated from bachelor's program, I called them. Their continual ed, and they were so snobbish, and that thing cut me to the core because this was the school I graduated from,
Mm,
and and I called my mentor in the image consultant almost in tears. Like, how do you deal with that rejection? Because that's a part of it. It's a part of the rejection, is a part of it. So that was a challenging experience dealing with the rejection and trying to find out who are the powers that be that will really open the door. I remember, Anita, for a whole year, I was calling colleges, and you remember the list of CUNY
yep.
colleges, just calling, emailing, I mean, not emailing, faxing, mailing, snail mail. And I was calling the career department for a year and did not know that was not the department to call. I should have been calling adult continual ed for a whole year. So sometimes you don't have people that in the business and doing things that you are doing, and sometimes the networking is limited. But then other time it's more formal. Like I went to the is it small business administration, where one of them where you meet with the one-on-one at 26 Federal Plaza or something, the older senior people. I went to a handsome place for the non-for-profit, starting that. So I went to a lot of formal places, but sometimes you need that person that's more intimate that you can ask those questions. So going through the challenges of feeling rejected or lack of information was really kind of hard for me. But
Yeah.
I stayed in the game.
And you bring up some very interesting points about some of the services that you tapped into, right? A lot of those services, you're saying that it's been a while or it's been around for years, but they've been free services that you can tap
Yeah.
into, right? Free services. A lot of folks are like, well, how'd you do this? I'm like, I went down to Hanson Place. That was the Brooklyn Business Solutions to help me
Hmm.
with my MWBE certification. How did I learn about the MWB certification? Was because I actually curated an event in Brownsville about MWBEs, and I had no clue about what that was. I was
Wow.
empowered
Hmm.
by the speakers because when they were talking about what MWBE certifications, you immediately think of construction. And they're like, no, the city buys a lot of services.
Right.
So what did I
Hmm.
do? I just followed through.
There you
Went,
go.
scheduled appointment, sat there, me and my little baby at the time, and just sat there and went through the entire process. And you're now talking almost 6.5 years that I've been in business. And my certifications came in 2019 and 2020 at the state level as a result of me sitting and dedicating time in a free workshop. So
Wow.
most
Hmm.
people they don't really, I don't know what it is about when you're providing services are free, you feel like if you don't pay for it that it's not of value. I don't know what that
That's true. That's true. Because I went to Bach Network many years ago when they gave me the $500.
Mhm.
But some years later, I remembered them and I went back. Because sometimes, especially with me, I was back and forth to a 9 to 5 to a 9 to 5. You forget some of the things that you tell other people about. You forget that these services are available. And when I went back, they told me, this lady was saying there was something where you could be certified, but I never really clearly understood. And sometimes
Mhm.
back then, you don't like to always say, ask people to, can they give you more information or whatever, especially if they're not forthcoming as much. And so I didn't really get the gist of it. And then years later, again, I went back to Bach and they told me about it. And that's when I followed through. and I got mine, I believe, in 2020. I believe mine was in 2020 or a year
Mhm.
later, right?
Yep.
2020. And I'm still learning how to make the best use of
Yeah,
the
me too.
PPE. Yes.
Me too. It's a process, but I also
Mhm.
know that it has yielded a additional revenue stream in my business as a result of me being certified. A space
Yeah.
that, probably had I not been certified, I would have been, you know, looking at other ways to gain additional revenue. So I'm really grateful that I actually went through that free process. It's a free
Hmm.
process. So
Absolutely.
let's talk about some of the work that you're doing now. So you are an inspiring author.
Yes. I recently, well, believe it or not, I was working on this thing. I left a job
Hmm.
that was very toxic to me, in my opinion. And I started, after I left it, I started writing about the making of a good leader. And when
Mm,
someone asked me, why was I leaving? I said, because management is toxic.
mm,
I said, you either get rid of them or you retrain them, but
mm,
something have to give. And the making of a good leader came out of that, helping leaders of people become better. Because some people are very good and great in dealing with process and operation, but they have absolutely no people skills, which
right,
is the most valuable resources. So I don't get it. I absolutely do not get it. Now, I'm not saying it won't be times. Everybody's not going to like your management style. Everybody is not going to be perfect as leaders, but you can be better and you can strive to be better and want to be better because you're dealing with people who have lives, have family, who need their jobs, who don't need to be stressed. I just saw a LinkedIn post about a young lady who said that she was doing they was talking about well um, well-being. You know how when your company have it for wellness programs and things like that, and she said part of their wellness program was going to the gym and working out. And
hmm
she said when she worked out, they said um, people who get ahead don't take breaks, but yet they were promoting their wellness program. And
yeah,
then another young lady, she put that wellness programs have to add more than just how well we eat and how well we rest. Wellness starts from the top. It needs to be a cultural thing. We're at work for most of us more than we're at home.
right.
And I posted on that and I said, absolutely, say that again, loud and clear. You know, I'm all ranting on there, right? And I said, because the management, poor management could even contribute to the demise of people home,
Right.
because a lot of people bring the anger, the frustration home to their children or home to their family members. And so this is real and it's really serious that managers need to be held accountable, not just subordinates or I don't like that word subordinate, but frontline staff or middle management. The culture is should be role model from the top, not expect us to work out the things and the kinks and the strategy of making a better team environment. We all should be a part of that. But if it doesn't start at the top, it trickles down negatively to the bottom. And I
So
really don't like that.
so how do you
Mhm.
translate that in as a business owner? Because those same lessons, I believe, and listening to you will translate into your management style.
Right. Hmm. Well, when I was a manager, I I do I do think in church, and because I'm a leader in church as well, and you have a team, and
Mhm.
people have yet to realize, and some of them do, churches a business, and when you're managing people that's not getting paid, I'm talking about the ones for the ministry.
Mhm.
That's some hard management if they don't feel like, well, what am I getting out of this? And they don't
Right.
understand the significance. But even in managing at the job as well, um, I think I had more of an open policy, try to collaborate. And of course, at the end of the day, I have to be the one who makes the final decision, but not without having a voice. I think we need to make it where people enjoy coming to work. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of hearing people that hate their job.
Right.
And I was part of that group, hating my job. And that's not a good thing. That's not good for your health, and you're talking about wellness, right? So I think leaders should be respectful, number one, of everybody's contribution. And I wrote an acronym for respect. And let me get it because I don't want to miss a word. All right. Respect, right? I did this book a long time ago for a while. So it's remembering for the R,
Mm-hmm.
everyone, right? Service and purpose, effort and contribution and talent matters. Whether you're the receptionist or the maintenance man, everybody should be respected and valued. Because the truth be told, if the maintenance go on strike, we're gonna have a miserable day when
Mm-hmm.
the bathroom's not clean.
Right. And those are the little things. I remember,
Little things.
it's so funny. I meet so many entrepreneur now who transition from financial services, Wall Street specifically, because I'm one of them. And it's real interesting to hear that or what some of the tips that I learned. And shout out to Carla Harris, who is at Morgan Stanley. I learned this one of her pearls. This is a long time ago, and I still use it as a tool to this day about really understanding, to your point, how to treat people. Doesn't matter if they, are janitors. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
if they are frontline staff. It doesn't matter if they're the receptionist. You treat everybody specifically how you want to be treated. And I'm going to give you a story. So remember, you will always have like janitors or, they will always be the last ones to work late, cleaning
Yes.
up behind our mess within the workplace. And so if you wanted to really find out about, what was happening, you would talk to the janitor. Why? Because they are the ones
Yes.
that are, there when the big bosses are having those late night meetings, they hear conversations, and they'll tell you kind of roundabout way whether you're going to be fired or not. So if you maintain those type of relationships
Yes,
with
they
folks,
do. Yes, they do.
like
Hmm.
I remember, and I used to work at the bank in New York, and I remember we transitioned, after 9/11 to what was it, right across the street from from the Barclays Center, and where it is now. But the Barclays Center wasn't there when I was working there. And I remember there was this woman who was a part of maintenance, and I held a leadership position in a nonprofit, a trade organization. And every year we would have like these really large galas, and we would find folks to come be vendors. And I found out that she was an artist, a really good artist. Like
Wow.
she was so freaking amazing. And we would talk while we in the bathroom while she changing, toilet paper and stuff. And so I remember
Amazing.
hiring her, right? Because
Hmm.
I didn't feel comfortable or thinking it was ethical to have
Hmm.
someone come and present their art and not, support them
Right.
that way.
Hmm.
That's just how I do business. And I have to tell you, she sold out on all her paintings. I never forget that.
Wow.
She was so gifted and talented. Um, but that all stemmed from just having basic conversations with members who are servicing us or helping to make our day better by
Right.
doing something as clean as little as cleaning or keeping a space clean that we function in, and that we're
Hmm.
we're the ones messing it up anyway. So
Absolutely. And to be
change.
honest, it's not even a little job. That
Nope.
is a difficult job, and not everyone can clean the same. It is not that, oh, that's just maintenance. No, I often tell the clients and customers that I engage with that you have to be mindful from the time you walk into that building, the maintenance man, the person opening the door, some places have security. You have to be respectful because they ask them, how did
Yeah.
she act? How did she look? You know, how did she greet you?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't ever be pompous, you know. And leaders have to remember they also have to give account to anyone, to
Right.
people over them, and also they can lose their job as well. And I'm not trying to just bark on them because I know some of them come from some situation and have years of doing things a certain way and don't even be mindful of the way they behave. But leaders behaving badly is
Right.
not acceptable in the workplace. My friend and I, my colleagues and I, we was talking and we were going to do a forum called Bring Humanity Back into the Workplace. It has left, took its bag and left. It does not even want to come back, you know, because eh, because leaders are forgetting the key ingredient is how to lead. Just
Mm.
because you have a title do not mean you know how to lead. And I share in one of the um, articles of the making of a good leader that leaders need self-assessment, self-awareness. They have to do that continually and to see where they are, since most of us cannot evaluate them, right? We can't evaluate them unless they have a company that has the 360-degree evaluation. But I think leaders should be evaluated
Mm.
by staff. I really do. Because we're serving you and the customers and the client. So I think it's important to see how you are shining or not shining in the workplace. And it makes a difference if you honor what comes out of that.
So as we come to a wrap up, it's always seemed like these conversations get like,
Yeah.
when they're really good, it's like time moves. So for those who are interested in, um, you know, following in your footsteps, specifically for your service business, what advice would you give them?
If they wanted to become an entrepreneur and do like
Would
you
you
and
do?
I,
Mm-hmm.
do what I do, well, definitely sometimes work in the field first. Because
Mm,
as I said, I left Wall Street and I started working in a youth program. Working in the field, I hear sometimes people say, I want to be this and do that. And right now they're doing nothing to it to even equip them for that or to get them the experience they need for that. Educate yourself. You have to educate yourself in that field. It doesn't mean you always have to have formal education. You just have to educate yourself because if you're doing professional development or life coaching, now everybody's a life coach.
mhm,
And everybody's a coach, but there is some credentials that I strongly encourage you to get to be more credible to people. I'll say if you want to do workshops, start developing workshops. I developed a table etiquette workshop out of somebody asking me to do it. I had no clue other than the basic things we learned as a kid, right? And all of a sudden, I gave it over to somebody else, and I felt like God said, "Don't ever do that." Now there's so much
mhm,
information you can learn, and I became such a natural until people when we go out, sometimes they started asking me, "What fork I use? Which glass is mine?" Way
mhm,
back when, and I started teaching this. So stay in the game. I definitely feel you should try to get a job, even if it's volunteer or even if it's part time in the field where you get used to speaking to people in public, get used to sharing things that can make people better, be it body language, communication, whatever. But inform yourself first so you could be more credible when you're speaking to them.
mhm,
Also, just in general, get rid of our ego. Sometimes people trying to help and trying to give us advice and guidance, and we don't want to change or bend or, at least hear people out because that'll help just in general. Another thing in terms of professional development, I would I would just say look at people that do it online, especially now online, and equip yourself with computer skills. You
Mm.
gotta be somewhat computer savvy or have someone around you that can teach you. I literally paid someone to teach me Zoom to
Mm.
learn how to, and that's when I launched the Let's Get to Work Club for people that aspiring towards their dream or goal by learning how to do Zoom, that virtual platform I started. So just stay in the game. And one last thing I want to mention about exploratory interviews and networking, having those one-on-one meetings with people that been in this field, which is what I've done in the beginning. And people will share and being honest with your intentions that you why you want to know what you know and take good notes and ask good questions and have such a great experience talking to them until you can get a second opportunity to meet with them and follow up or ask questions.
And that's great advice. Great advice. Obviously we're in this space now, virtual space, so we call it
Mm-hmm.
now virtual coffee. And you only can,
Yes,
you just have 15 minutes of someone time. Usually the conversations will last a half hour, but definitely when you're asking 10 to 15 minutes, have your questions available, be prepared, as Yvonne mentioned.
right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it's something that is really beneficial in closing your learning gap. And so, on that note, you have a book that you want to share. You
The
have
making of a good leader. Mm-hmm.
Making of a Good Leader. Where could we
And
find it?
well, the way it goes, if you email me and you're interested in it, and it's right now, there's the ebook. I'm about to put it on Amazon, so it's going to cost a little more. But right now, it's only $5. It's my first launching of the book of the making of a good leader. It's a lot of good tips. I love for you to read it and give me your thoughts about it. And I really want real thoughts because once I finish writing it, I had so many other ideas. And it's like you can't do that. You gotta stop somewhere. But yes, if you email me, my email is image. You could go to my website, but I prefer you email me at imagepro2010 at gmail.com. Imagepro2010 at gmail.com is $5. I am not mad if you share it with somebody. It gives me more exposure and visibility, so that's fine. I also want to just share that I'm about to also launch another ebook called the job search surge, and it's to make it more easier, giving you like a roadmap of what to do when you on your journey to look for employment or get back into the workforce, or a college student just coming out into the career field. It gives you sort of a roadmap of what to do, how to network, what information you need to know about. So hopefully I get some emailing for my two books and reach a wider audience. And thank you, Anita.
And we are so excited to have you join and share your story of the real journey of the entrepreneur. If you want to reach out and check out Yvonne's website, the website is listed and scrolling at the bottom, imageisme.com. Really happy to support all entrepreneurs as they are. We all come from different journeys, right?
Yes.
But the truth is, we all share one common thing, is that we want to be able to control our time and be able to create a
Yes.
legacy for ourselves and for those who are coming behind us. So,
Absolutely.
on that note, Yvonne, I'm so excited that you took time out of your busy schedule to join us, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And you got to come back. You got to come
I'm
back.
coming back.
Got to come back to share
Coming back. I
more
enjoy
good
it and I
news.
appreciate your work as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care now.
All right, you too. And so this is what I mean. The real journey of the entrepreneur. We all come in different packages, different sizes, and the journey is never really the same. But I can tell you, if you remain consistent, if you focus in on your goals, if you write the things that you have or have been placing your heart down, the consistency will lead to success. And also, make sure that you are connecting with ones who can provide you with genuine support, can provide you with, encouragement, because this road to entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. You can't be a punk and be an entrepreneur. I say that all the time. Just like being a parent, you can't be a parent and be a punk. Not going to work. And so, with that said, I wanted to just share a few free resources. I said it again, free resources for those that who are within the tri-state area. The New York City Small Business Resource Network is they provide one-on-one services. You can sign up at nycsmallbusinessresourcenetwork.org. um, this is a collection of organizations who are looking to really help promote small businesses. So, again, that's NYC Small Business Resource Network.org. That is one. Number two, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce is one of the chambers that connects small businesses. There are a number of chambers within the five boroughs. There are chambers of commerce upstate. They're all over the place. And their focus is to really help small businesses level up to a next level. Some are membership based, all are membership based. However, they do have resources in which you can tap into as a small business owner that does not cost you anything. And so, this is with the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. They had a number of resources. I know that they have an app that you can download, but they have so many resources. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to interview um, on another podcast called the Brownsville Minute, the senior director, Deshaun Mars, at the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. And Deshaun was really gracious enough to share a number of resources and opportunities that are specific to small businesses, and even deeper, businesses of color. So while business doesn't have a color, we do understand that when you are a business, specifically a business of color, that your starting point is a little bit, there are a little bit more barriers that exist for small businesses, particularly businesses of color. But these are opportunities where you can get information and services for free if you take advantage of it. Again, you got to take advantage of it. The other thing is, um, wanted to mention that there are a number of grants are available, right? Again, New York Small Business Recovery.com. There are grants between $5 and $25,000 that are available through the New York State Empire Development COVID-19 Pandemic Small Business Recovery Grant. Now, I've been saying this for quite some time, right? When you are entering into this space where you are looking to apply for a grant, there are some five basic things that you need. Five basic. The other stuff is pretty much based upon the organization or the person who is administering the funds. Number one, how is your business structured? Is it an LLC? Is it a sole prop? Is it, S corp, etc.? How did you, the thing that you would need is to have the business certificate, or your documents with the LLC, in order to prove that you are in business and that this is not just a hobby for you. That's number one. Number two, we need to know that you're making money. Did you file your taxes? I know that there were a lot of small businesses that was not able to take advantage of the EDIL loan, the PPP loan, because they did not have their fundamental documents in order. Do you have a business bank account? How are they going to fund you? Where are they going to fund you? You think they're going to cash app you? No, they're not. They need to find a place where you are, they're where they can document activity within a business bank account. Those are three. The other thing that they typically ask for is for you to submit a W-9 form, right? Your taxes, your business certificate to identify who you are as a business, and also bank statements because they want to see how you manage resources, how you conduct business. And again, if you are legitimate in terms of business. So most folks get upset, oh, I don't want my business to be shared, blah, 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 but then you just have a hobby. I don't want to have anyone playing these type of games going into the new year, right? Because there's going to be a continuing target for small businesses. So you have to make the responsibility to get your stuff in order. File your taxes, get you a credible CPA, work with someone who will help you to become financially well if that's not your strong point, because we all been there. But again, having these documents situated and placed in order will allow you to be able to take advantage of the money that is available for small businesses. So can't say I didn't tell you so. Now, finally, I am a business coach, right? And so what I always say is yes, my services, Yvonne's services are, is fee for service, right? However, what I do recognize is that we're in a time where every business was impacted. There are some businesses that have, experienced significant growth during this pandemic, and you want someone to help to support you. So if you cannot afford services, I know that some folks like to take advantage of certain things, but if you cannot afford services, the SBA has a group of volunteers, and I'm one of them with the New York City chapter of SCORE, that provides services for free for you. Now, here's the difference, right? Because I had some folks get like really upset with me recently because they're like, "Oh, you're booked out until, December." That's because that's the time that I dedicate to volunteer my time to help to support those who are looking to grow and develop their business. And believe me, I'm worth the wait. I am. I'm really worth it. I'm not saying that to brag or anything like that, but I have and will help you through your process. And you can either pay my fee to get me a little bit earlier, or you can take advantage, use that money for something else within your business, but you're getting the same dope coach anyway. So either way, just book me and save your money. And then when you're ready to do something else like MWBE contracts or other, then we can talk about fees, right? So that's how I work. Take advantage of the free services that you can get and that you have. It's available for free, and you're still getting all the dopeness as a coach. So that's through SCORE. You have number of resources that are available for free. So as we are coming into the new year that's coming up, I don't want to hear at all that you didn't know about these free services. This is a Google search. It is a simple email. You can contact either myself for our services at 11375, or you can tap into Yvonne because she does coaching as well at imagesme.com. So on that note, I want to thank you for supporting the real journey of the entrepreneur. We are going to have more awesomeness, more dynamic entrepreneurs who have the courage to share their journey, not the stuff that you see in fluff, but just real honest conversations about the day-to-day stuff that comes up and that happens as we are growing this dream of entrepreneurship. So stay tuned, stay locked, and I want to see you soon. Take good care. Stay safe. Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. Your decisions, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.